How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we got probably one of the most uncomfortable cringe stories ever. So basically, a kid had one of those school given out laptops, and unfortunately, Buddy forgot to clear his search history. His teacher catches him. His parents are informed. It is probably one of the most awkward stories and probably a lot of your nightmares. So sit back, relax, leave a like on the video right now to claim your very own free nothing limited time offer, by the way. So definitely leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new and enjoy story time videos. And with that being said, let's just jump right into it. So anyways, we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Benji. So this all happened on one unfortunate day. So anyways, Benji was given a school-issued Chromebook. So Benji didn't have a computer at home. And, Benji used the school-issued Chromebook back at home. His school was fairly lenient about allowing kids to bring them back home, well, because you needed to do your homework. The one thing is, though, it really wasn't Benji's Chromebook, at least for his time at school. I think his school had a deal where after, the number of years, if you're at school and you have the Chromebook, by the time you're done, you can pay a little bit of money to actually keep it, because at that point, the value would have gone down so much. But the main point is that it is not Benji's Chromebook, and the schools can do whatever they want with it. So anyways, one night, Benji was home, and how do I say this without being too sus in the first 2 minutes of the video? YouTube's AI gotta not listen to this too carefully. But look, at the end of the day, Benji was being careless. He was being reckless. And Benji just wants you guys to know to be careful and to never, ever, ever forget to use Safe Search. Never, ever, ever forget to use private browsing and or clear your browser history, especially if you're on a school-issued computer, man. That's all Benji wants you guys to know. Benji's a fallen soldier. He just wants the best for you, man. He just wants you guys to live where he could not. Yeah, so anyways, one night, Benji, he decided he needed to use the internet. He decided to go on there and maybe look up some stuff that, I don't know, maybe he just decided to look up some stuff that you wouldn't want your grandmother to see you looking up. Maybe he looks up some stuff that maybe you don't want to start playing at the family gathering. Are you guys catching my drift? All you got to know is that some stuff that is perhaps not necessarily the safest material for a workplace environment, if you guys are catching my drift. Anyways, so Benji does what he needs to do, and he forgets. The big mistake, he forgets to clear his history. He didn't use private browsing. So at the end of the day, this is 100% on Benji, and he takes full responsibility for the consequences of his actions. If anything, this tale is supposed to scare you guys into doing the right thing. And by that, I mean clearing your browsing history, boys. Come on now. Anyways, though, so Benji goes into school. He falls asleep right away, and he's late when he wakes up. He forgot to set an alarm, so his mom's yelling at him Benji, you're gonna be late. You're gonna be late. You're gonna be late. He's like, ah, crap. So he's going around, grabbing his stuff, throws on some gym pants and a hoodie, goes to his desk, quickly grabs his computer, puts it in his backpack, gets to the bus, doesn't miss the bus, but is super, super close to being late. Hops on the bus, completely forgets about what he did on his computer, completely forgets he didn't clear a search history, doesn't even think about it. So anyways, Benji goes into school, still kind of de-thawing from waking up, man. I don't know, whenever you're jolted awake, you get that shock of energy, but then I always feel a little foggy for a little bit, especially that early in the morning. So Benji kind of slowly walks in, is just trying to figure out what's going on, and he has homeroom. So at Benji's school, he has a homeroom teacher, which is basically a teacher that isn't teaching you any subject necessarily, but it's kind of just almost like your advisor, your kind of teacher that you have a bunch of kids with before class as kind of a, I don't know, start to the week. This was a Tuesday, so it's not really a start to the week, but they have it every Tuesday, Thursday. They have homeroom. So he gets there, and the teacher is both an advisor, but also a teacher at the same time. And Benji's school had this thing. It was part of their technology policy. A couple of years ago, some kids were doing some illegal stuff online using the school computers. So then after that happened, they had to really bump up the strictness on the online policy. So after that whole thing went down, they had a much stricter technology policy. And part of one of the implementations of the policy was random computer checks. Yes, you guys can probably already tell where this is going. It's very clearly outlined in the policy that everything that is like the computer can be used for non-school purposes, but those are very, very limited. Like if you're playing a video game on your computer, it has to be like the highest. It can't be like a 17 plus game. It has to be like a 13 plus or 12 plus. I don't really know how the rating system works, but it basically has to be a PG game. You can't be looking at anything R rated. You definitely can't be looking at anything sus. And a lot of times sus things are on like sketchy websites. You're limited to the websites you could look at. And there was like installed in the browser limitations that the school put in. However, it's so easy to like get rid of those limitations. Like, I don't know. I don't need to be a tech person to tell you it's easy to get around that stuff, bro. And every single kid at the school did. They honestly should have just been doing like weekly checks to make sure that those were still installed, but you could probably easily turn off and turn on before inspection. Anyways, though, so they sit down and Benji's sitting there and just, I don't know, he's like kind of done. He's not done, but he's just tired. He's kind of spacey. He's trying to get his bearings, and it's a Tuesday. It's not Monday, right? It's not the very, very start of the week. But at least Monday, you have a reason to be upset because it's like, oh man, it's Monday. Everyone hates Monday. Tuesday is basically Monday, but you don't have the same kind of, oh man, it's a Monday, we can all get behind it. It's like, it's both like it's annoyingly early in the week, but it's also not Monday. So it's still a bad day, but you can't be as mad about it. Anyways, though, so Benji's sitting there and the teacher's like, hey, like real quick, guys, I just got to check your laptops. It's the random technology inspection. And Benji completely forgot about last night. He completely forgot about what he did. Or he just assumed that, of course, he used Safe Browser. Of course, he used Safe Search. Of course, he cleared his history. That would be a stupid thing not to do. So, of course, he did. Of course. Right? Yeah, so anyways, Benji hands over his computer, doesn't think anything of it. And so the teacher's like very quickly looking at people's computer. He'd like a rundown. Oh, you have to do this. You have to look at that. I don't even really think he was checking that closely. Except here's the worst part. Not only did Benji not use Safe Search or clear his history, bro fell asleep so quickly that he didn't even close his tabs. Yes, he didn't even close his tabs. So Mr. Johnson was sitting up there going through. Mr. Johnson he doesn't want to be that guy. He's not going to be digging super, super hard. He's not going to be like, let me run a program that's going to check every file on every server that this computer is ever connected. He's not trying to be that type of guy. However, in this situation, he was not given much of a choice. So he's like, Mr. Johnson says, hey, Benji, could you come up here for a second? Benji, completely confused, like walks up. And mid-walking up, like Benji his memory just comes back to him. And he remembers, it's almost like one of those like TV show flashbacks to the moment. Yes, last night, he didn't close the tabs. And Benji just like slow motion is like walking to the front of the class, realizing his fate halfway to walking there. So anyways, he walks up to Mr. Johnson. At this point, Benji's sweating because he knows what's up. He's like, hello, Mr. Johnson. How are you? And Mr. Johnson's like, I'm all right, Benji. Could you come over here for a second? And Benji's like, oh, shit, crap. Damn it. So anyways, Benji walks over. He's like, oh my God, like, who put that there? And Mr. Johnson looks at him and just has a blank stare at him. And Benji stares back. Kind of Mr. Johnson's way of saying, dude, don't even try that. Like, don't even try that, buddy. Like, nice try, but not even nice try. It's not going to work. No. Yeah, so anyways, Mr. Johnson's like, hey, like, I would love to, like, look the other way, but I'm sorry, I really can't here. It's, like, policy. Benji's like, yeah. Benji just accepts it. He just admits it. So he's like, look, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to take your computer up to the front desk. Like, I'm going to let them know what happened. Like, it's out of my hands from here. Benji's just like, oh, dude. Oh, yeah, this is like the worst situation ever. So anyways, everyone in the class is like staring and whispering and laughing because they realize what's going on. Mr. Johnson was trying to be discreet. He wasn't being like annoying. He wasn't being like a bad teacher being like, oh my God, Benji, you have sussy videos on your computer. Everyone, look at this. Benji forgot to clear search history. Right, now he wasn't doing that. However, Benji, it was just so obvious. So Benji grabs his computer, walks out of class, walking down the hallway, and it's just trying to remember, okay, what's procedure? Do I get my computer taken away? Do I have to go to a training? Do I have to sign a paper? Do I have to write an essay? He's trying to remember exactly what was the punishment for this. And Benji's walking up to the front office, and that's when it hits him like a train, dude. Part of the policy, because he remembers one of his friends got caught 2 years ago, or maybe 6 months earlier, right? One of his friends got caught at one point, and he should have listened to his friend. But his friend, I remember his friend was like, dude, I'm grounded for a month because they called my parents. Benji remembers that part of the deal is they call your parents. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment computer down below, like the thing Benji got destroyed with, computer. Comment computer down below. That'll be the secret word of the day so I can see the names and faces of all the people who made it this far into the video. Thank you for basically almost finishing the story. I really appreciate it. The best way to support the channel is to binge watch these videos, meaning sit down and watch a bunch of videos as you do stuff. So comment down below what you're doing while binge watching the videos. I'm genuinely curious. And if you're on Spotify, make sure you've rated the podcast 5 stars and follow the Spotify podcast, which are just these videos. Anyways, so Benji's walking to the front office. It's like a death march. He just knows that this is going to be bad. Yeah, so Benji gets up to the front office. It's already been a note has already been sent up or sent by email or something. The receptionist's like, hey, Benji, all right, we've been expecting you. Just sit there for a second. Benji sits on the waiting room couch for 5 minutes. Just, oh, man, you just can't, it's just such an excruciating moment because he can't think of anything else besides the punishment he's about to receive. And he was not excited for this punishment, man. Anyway, so eventually a kid walks out of the office and I think it was the principal or some high up dude. I'll call him the principal. Benji didn't tell me specifically. Let's say principal. Principal opens up the door. He's like, hey, Benji, come on in. Benji walks in, sits down, all defeated. He knows what's up. He knows what's coming. The principal's like, hey, Benji, you got a report that you were misusing the computer to look at inappropriate videos. We have a pretty strict policy with that. So what's going to happen is you're going to lose your rights to the computer for about a week. And we're going to ask that you write up a paper apologizing for misusing school property and why it's dangerous to go on those websites. And then the principal was silent for a second. So Benji's like, oh, wait. Benji starts to get excited. He's like, wait a minute. That's all I got to do? That sucks. And maybe my mom's can be like, oh, where's your computer? I don't know, right? But that's it? And then the principal's like, oh, and we're also going to call your parents. And Benji's like, no, no. Yeah, so not a great time for Big B over here. Big Ben was taking an L, that's definitely for sure. Not Benji's proudest moment. So his parents get on the phone, and his mom picks up. And Benji's just like, oh my God, this is excruciating. Why am I here? So the principal informs his mom, and Benji can hear his mom go, my son did what? All that on the other side of the phone. So Benji already knows he's cooked. Anyways, so the principal is like, hey, here's your mom. Benji's like, He grabs the phone. His mom's yelling at him. Benji's like, Mom, I'm sorry. And she's like, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. You're not going to be allowed on a computer for 1 billion years. All this fake mom, punishment stuff. He's like, okay, Mom, I'm sorry. We'll talk about this later. Anyways, he's allowed to go back to class. He has to leave his computer there. And he has to inform all of his teachers that he will not be allowed access to his computer for the week, and they kind of know what's up. But the rest of the day was just so garbage because he just knew he knew he was just waiting till he got home to get chewed out again. He's like, oh my God. Gets back home. His mom is so mad, is trying to punish him, whatever. And yeah, I don't know. Benji just goes to his room. He's not even told to, he just does. So later, his dad stops by his room. He's like, hey, son, heard about what happened at school. Benji's just waiting for round 2. And his dad's like, bud, if you're looking at that stuff, you got to be careful. But also, you got to be careful about looking at it. Back in my day, like, we didn't have computers. We just had freaking magazines and stuff, and we had to be creative with where we hid that. Like, if my mom caught me or my dad caught me, I'd be grounded for months. You got to be smart with that, son. That's all I'm saying. And he walks out. And Benji's just like, hey, yo, wait, W, dad? Like, wait a minute. My dad didn't come in to punish me. He just said, hey, look at that stuff. Like, be better at hiding. He literally just said, be better at hiding. So anyways, yeah, Benji gets grounded for 2 weeks. I think, like, originally it was supposed to be for a lot longer, but eventually the dad was able to, like, chill out the mom a little bit, being like, our son's just curious, like, we shouldn't be punishing him for being curious. We should have been there for him. We should have, like, made sure that he didn't go to anything bad. It should have been on us. Eventually, punishment lifted, and yes, Benji just wanted you guys to hear this horror story so that you would never make the same treacherous mistake. Peace.